Hello everyone, this is Ramakrishna Biru, DevOps engineer. Today with this video, I'm going to demonstrate CICD process in the DevOps with GitHub, Jenkins, Ansible, and Docker tools. So this has a continuous integration with the Jenkins and GitHub, and then continuous deployment will be used with the Jenkins, Ansible, and Dockers. Let me explain this one with a flowchart, which I'm going to use it. Here the developer will develop a code, and then he will upload the code to the GitHub, and then from the GitHub Jenkins server will pull the code, and it will build the code using the Docker, and then the Docker image will be created, and this Docker image will be uploaded to the Docker hub, and then local Docker image will be deleted. So let's say if the developer has a version 1 of the code, and all the way it will be Docker image will be created in the Docker hub with the 1.0 version, and then from the Jenkins, so this Docker image will be pulled and it will be sent to the Ansible, and Ansible will deploy through the YAML code this Docker image into the Docker host. And this is all the complete process, and from developers Git client till the Docker hub, it's called the continuous integration, where the code will be taken and it will be built, and Docker image will be created. So that's a continuous integration process. And then from Jenkins, Docker hub, Ansible, Docker host, this is a continuous deployment phase, and the bottom portion where the images will be captured, and then the Apache host will be built with this. Let me explain the server configuration which I'll be using, and here is the servers how I'll be creating in this video. So there will be two servers I'll be creating. One is server 1, and the second one is server 2. So both are of the similar configuration. I'll be using this AWS infrastructure, and I'll take the two servers and I'll explain in a little bit. And in the server 1, what I'm going to put is I'll have a Git client where we put the code and then send the code to the GitHub repository, and then we'll be configuring the Jenkins on this server, and then we'll be installing the Docker, and then we'll be installing the Ansible. So this Docker will upload the Docker images to the Docker hub, and then this Ansible will be pushing the YAML files onto the web server. So the server 2 will have the Docker to be able to upload the images to the Docker hub or pull the images from the Docker hub, and then the Docker host, which is the web server which we are going to create with this Docker image which we stored. Let's go ahead and get started by practically doing this. Okay. Okay, here is a AWS cloud, the console, and I'll be picking up two servers to demonstrate about this project. And let me go to the launch instance. Okay, I'll pick up that Amazon Linux. Select. Okay, next configuration instance. Next storage. Basically I'll be taking one CPU and 1 GB memory. That's sufficient for this, and the space will be taking 8 GB. That should be fine. And this is a security configuration. Let me just name it. Let me use this server as a Jenkins server. So Jenkins Ansible security group, security group. And let me do this, and then let me add a rule here. Like already SSH port is open, and this one we are using for Jenkins, which uses 8080 port. So let me open the traffic for that 8080 port as well. 8080. Okay, I'll be doing from anywhere. And then review and launch. And I'll be using the existing my keys to set it up. Okay, it will take some time to get this instance. In the meanwhile, let's go ahead and get another server created. Okay, EC2 instance. Let me launch instance again to create the second one. Select the Amazon Linux server. And use the T2 instance with 1 CPU and 1 GB memory. I will take the default 8 GB disk space. And security group, just updated the name according to our purpose. So web server. Security group. And then add a rule. This is a web server, so we have to open a port 80. Anyway, launch and use the same key. Okay, let me go and check the instances. Okay, I see the one instance is already running. So this one, let's the first one is for the Jenkins server. Let me just rename it. Jenkins Ansible. Jenkins Ansible server. And this one, the web server. Web server. Okay, let me grab the IP address for this. Okay, this is a web server. Let me open my putty. Let me save it as a web server. Save. Open. Okay, I could able to log into that. And then let me change the host name for this. Host name CTL set host name web server. Okay, host name. So web server. Let me just make a duplicate session and see if really it changed. And I see the name is changed to web server. Let's close the other one. Okay, then let me go to the other server, grab the Jenkins IP address, and name it as a Jenkins ANSIBLE server. Save. Open this one. Okay, this one also. Let's change the host name. Host name CTL set host name ANSIBLE. ANSIBLE. Let's say start with Jenkins ANSIBLE server host name. Duplicate of this. Open to see if the host name change complete. So we'll see the Jenkins ANSIBLE server. We'll close the other one. So now we have two servers. One is a web server and other one is a Jenkins server. So two servers have been created. And then let's do one thing. Let's establish the SSH key communication so that I can communicate from this server to this server and vice versa. So let's see. First grab the host names, host IPs. So this is the IP address. Let me add this. Okay, let me grab this one as well. So first let me grab this one, IP address etc host. Paste it here. It's called web server. And then take this IP address. Jenkins ANSIBLE server. Okay, let's grab these two IP addresses and do the same thing, change onto this one as well. etc host. Okay, I think I had to do sudo etc host sudo pa etc host. Okay, I saved it here and I had to save it here as well. So now what we do is from here the SSH keys will be in the .ssh folder. Let's create a SSH key 10. So we have two files created. This is the public key which we need to copy over to the other server. So this is a public key. Then here go to .ssh folder, we authorize keys. In this one we have to paste it and make sure it's a single line. Okay, so let's do SSH and web server. We're trying to do SSH from this server to this server, and it should not prompt for the password. Okay, yes. So yeah, we're on the web server. Okay, so that's good. Let me come out, and then here we'll grab the public key from this server. So we have to create a keys here, SSH key 10. And take the public key from here. And copy it in the authorized keys on this server. Make sure only one line is there. So now from here do SSH Jenkins ANSIBLE server hostname. Yes. So yeah, you got that Jenkins ANSIBLE. So just repeat the command again and you'll see. Yeah, that's one. So we have established a communication between the either two servers in both direction. And now let's do one thing. This one will make it as a so Jenkins server, we have to make it as a Git client. So let's install the Git package on that. So yum install Git. Yes. Okay, we created. And now let's do on this one, let's create a Jenkins server. On this one, let's go to the internet and find out the Jenkins server installation steps for the Linux. Install Jenkins on Linux. And we are taking from the Jenkins site itself. So here ours is let's go with the CentOS steps here. So these are the steps. So basically this step is to get the Jenkins repo, and then the next step is to get the key installed, and then he's just upgrading what are the packages if it is not upgraded. So we already have upgrade of that, and then here is the actual step of installing the Jenkins, and then it needed a Java version as well. So and then just it's reloading the demo. So let's grab here and then take it to the Jenkins server. Okay, so let me go as sudo as root and then paste it. Yes, install, yes. So it got installed. So Jenkins server, let me start the Jenkins server. Start Jenkins. Start Jenkins. Fail to start Jenkins. Not full. Let me see if it is installed. Okay, I think it only just did a yum update, I think. So let me, so it imported the repo and then just did yum update. So we need to do the other step, this step. So let's grab, okay, this one. Let me grab the last step as well. Okay, then system CTL, let's start Jenkins, and let's enable Jenkins so that during reboot also we should be able to start. Okay, let's check the status of the Jenkins server. Okay, so Jenkins is installed and it's running. So we have to do some more configuration, we'll do that. But here it will create a ID called Jenkins, and also it has a Jenkins group. So what we do is we have an EC2 user, right? So we'll add EC2 user to the Jenkins group, so that from the Jenkins whatever we deploy, so that will be like Jenkins can have the permissions, like EC2 user can have the permissions of the Jenkins. So let's add it. User mod minus add minus G, I think, group Jenkins EC2 user. Okay, ID EC2 user, and see here Jenkins is added to the group. Okay, and then I think we already installed the Git. Let me check. Yum install Git. Okay, it's already installed, so it's ready. And then what do we do is let's create the code which we wanted, the initial code, and we make it as a Git client. So let's go to the home directory, and here let's say let's call it as a name, docker CICD. Docker CICD. Okay. Hub. So let's make it docker CICD as the name. This is a folder, and this is where we'll just put our code. Before that, let me go to the GitHub server and create a empty repository, and let's make it as a repository name as docker CICD GitHub. Okay, it's not available. We can create this and just copy this name, create repository. Okay, it created the empty repository with this is the link which we can use. And let's go to the Git client, and here let's create a file. So what do we do is, our aim is create some docker file where we can let's say like we get a Apache installed, okay, and then we get some web page pulled, some sample web page, and put that web page into that Apache web server, and then that steps that particular module that will create as a Docker image, and then we'll send the Docker image to the deploy it to the finally into the web server. So for that one, like for creating the Docker image, so let's make it a file called docker file. So this is a file. Normally the Docker image steps will look for that, so that's why we'll name it as a Docker file. And here, okay, anything like hash is called a comment. So let's put some comment that is a version 1.0, and I will say this file will be used to build Docker image of Apache web server with user web pages. Okay, another hash. So then the first line should be from, and basically we'll use as a CentOS as an image from the Docker to build this Docker image, run any steps on that. So we'll take a CentOS, and it's from the latest CentOS. We can pull that image, and then let me just add my name, container. Let me add my email address, and then what we need to do is first step is let's say use the capital letter, and once we have a CentOS image kind of, so then you run the commands. So for installing the Apache, you need to do yum install -y httpd. Okay, this is the one. And also we'll get a sample web page from the internet as a template for this demonstration of the project. So that might have a zip file, so let's say if the zip and unzip is not there, we'll install that as well. So zip and then unzip again. So we'll install Apache, which is HTTPD, and then zip and unzip. So that one we'll do it. And then let's say we'll add the web page zip file. So I just looked into a couple of internet web pages sample, and then I found some tool for this demonstration, so we'll use this. So this is the site where we'll get the zip file and we'll add it here. Okay, and then so this one what it's going to do is it's going to add this file, get the file from this place, and then add it into, let's put which folder. So Apache has its web page default home path is var www.html. Okay, this is where I will copy it, and then copying, and let's make it as a current directory as var www. So work directory var www.html. So this is the directory, and then what do we do is we'll run a command to unzip, and let's say whatever we have start, whatever the zip files we have, do star.zip. So it will unzip that one file, and then run again command copy minus recursively verbose, and the file is this one. While you unzip it, so it will become with this folder. So we do the business today / star. So this one complete all the files, you copy it into the current directory, which is var www.html. Okay, and then do some cleanup, and just to reduce the image size and clean up the zip files. And then once the docker image comes up, so what command we have to run? So let's see demo of that, so which is user spin httpd. So this is a daemon command, and then let's say d, the option minus d, do foreground, so it will run not in the background but in the current shell kind of. And then the port which we will be using is port 80, so that one we will expose that port. So we have a from CentOS, and then the maintainer is just author's email address, and then run. So run these commands, yum install, it will install the packages, these packages, and it will get this file into that, and we unzipped it, and we just cleaned it up in zip files again, and then we started this daemon, and it will be in the foreground. So and then we exposing the 80 so that we can see the web page on the port 80. So let's save this file. Let's save this file. Okay, we have a docker file. So the next step is let's do sync this one into the GitHub repository. So we have a repository created is this one. So these are the steps. Let me go there. Let me say git init and git add the file name. So let's say git init. So it created a dot git in this current folder, and then git add. So the file is docker file. We'll add the docker file to the repository for this git, and then git, let's say branch. Yeah, so we'll make it as a main branch. The branch failed. Why it is failed? Git branch minus m main. Reference name master not found. Okay, we need to first commit, I think. So let me see, did we commit? No, we didn't commit, so we'll just commit it. Okay, for the committing, this is asking for two more commands, git config global user, and we use or email address, my email address, yahoo.com, and then the name for this username. Okay, got it, my username. And then let me run this command again. Okay, now it's committed. Let me run this command for the creating the branch. No, it went through. So now what we'll do is we do this. So add the origin as well. Okay, and then we can do the push, or we'll just get a keys. Next step is to input the username and password. Instead of that, let's put the keys for that. So let's just go to the SSH, grab the public key, and let's go to the GitHub, go to the settings. This is just to avoid username and password, and just add the SSH key. That would be easy because we'll be using too many times of this. So let's go to the settings, and then not to the settings. Okay, let me go to my user profile settings, and here SSH and GPG keys will be there. So this one, let's new SSH key, and paste it here from Jenkins ANSIBLE server. So this add the SSH key. Okay, now go back to Git client, and here let's do the go to our folder docker, and say git now push git at GitHub .com, and then user ID, then the repository name docker CICD github.git. Let's see if it goes. Yeah, it went through. So now let's double check this docker file with the file contents here. We should see that in the github. So let's go. Okay, here go back to github. Okay, and here is the one, and we'll see docker file has been created, and let's check the content. So here the content will be the version 1, and these are the contents which we just created in the git client and upload it to the github. Okay, here is there. So now the next step is let's establish the communication between the github and our Jenkins server. So let's first start the Jenkins server. Okay, let's see this one, close it, and then what is the Jenkins server public IP address? So we have to open that. Okay, so this is a public address, and then do port 8080. Okay, this is the Jenkins website, and first time we need to unlock. It's asking for the administrative password, so this is where we get the password. So let's copy this one, and then the Jenkins server, just cat. So we have permission like it is sudo and cat, and this one. So this is the password which we have to give it here, and continue. Never. Okay, it's asking for some plugins. Let's go with that suggested plugins translation, and then we need one additional plugin, which is SSH on the publisher SSH plugin. So that will install as soon as these default plugins are done. So recommended plugins, not the default. Yeah. Okay, it asks him to create a user ID. Let me create admin and give the password. And the name, let's say admin. Email address, let me give my email address. Save and continue. And this is the URL where we should be able to open this. Save and finish. Start using. So now we got that Jenkins admin console is open. Now we'll establish communication between GitHub and this one. So let's create a job. Okay, before doing that, so let's install our required plugin. One plugin. So it's called manage. Go to manage Jenkins. and manage plugins and go to the available. Publish forward SSH. Install without restart. So this is almost done here, and these two are the pending. Okay, those are also done. We'll go back to the top of the page. Okay, the plugin is installed. Now we'll just create a one job. So let's name this one as a Docker CICD. Docker CICD job. Okay, Docker CICD job. And then choose the freestyle project. Say okay. Okay, job already exists with that name. Okay, it might have already created just now, I think. So yeah, Docker CICD job. Okay. Now what we do is let's go to this job, and from GitHub let's get a web link for this. And this is a web link. Okay, and then go to the Jenkins server. Here let's select the Git, then repository name. Okay, and then branches, this will remote, so it will take all the branches whatever we have. We have only one main branch, and then we need to check this box, GitHub hook triggers for GATS CM polling, so that automatically we'll get a communication from GitHub to here, and we have to do some additional step as well. So okay, let's save temporarily this one here, and then come to the GitHub. Here we need to add a webhook. So let's go to the settings, and let's go to the webhooks, and here add a webhook. So here there's a payload URL which we need to get from here. This is a Jenkins URL. Jenkins URL, and then GitHub web hook. So this is a URL, and then JSON, and here the secret. So we need to get it this code from Jenkins server. So let's go to the Jenkins user, and then check the config, and here API token, add new token, so generate one. So we got it, and then copy this token, copy it, and add it to the here. And before doing that, here you need to save this token. Okay, save. So this is saved, and go to the GitHub, and this one the way I add the secret key, and just the push event. So whenever you have a change in that, it will do the push from this GitHub to the Jenkins server. So add a webhook, and here's a webhook, and then we'll see the status in the success or failure whenever we change something and it pushes. Okay, so this is where we finished communication between Jenkins and GitHub. And then let's go to the Jenkins server and install some Docker packages. Okay. And then one second, go to here, let's install Docker package, yum install Docker. Yes, and also do the same for web server as well. So we need for both the servers. Yum install Docker. Okay, and then let's come to the here, and then what we need to do is we need to establish a SSH connectivity from the Jenkins dashboard to this Jenkins server as well as to the web server, so for the communication. So we can use the passwords with the user ID for the root, but that's not recommended. Let's go with the keys. So here let's go to the Jenkins, manage Jenkins, and go to the configuration system. And here SSH servers, let's add first Jenkins server. So Jenkins ANSIBLE server. So what do we do is let's come the username, okay, the host name, let's grab the IP address. So the IP address for Jenkins is this one. Let's add it here, and the username is EC2 user, and then let's check the advanced, and here use the password and key. So let's password authentication or use a different key, so path to the key. So what do we do is this is for the Jenkins server. So let's create let's keep the keys to be accessible for the Jenkins admin console somewhere here. Make a directory key, and then this one is key, and then go to the home EC2 user, and let's go to the .ssh. Here let me grab this key. Let's copy this key, to key folder, and with the name called keys. Okay, then change ownership to Jenkins minus minus R Jenkins to key. So the key and keys. So this one basically accessed with the Jenkins ID, and let's see. Okay, group also will just change it to the Jenkins minus R Jenkins key. Yeah, just in case the ACT user wants, we can get access to that, because ACT user is part of the Jenkins group. Okay, and this will put keys. This is the file where we copied the key. And then let's do some tests. So failed Jenkins public. This is ACT user. Okay, let me check. And here okay, key Jenkins key keys, and for the SSH folder is okay, used by the ACT user. Okay, and then path for that ID RSA equal ACT user, and then okay, same key we need to copy it into the same public key. This one we need to copy it into the authorization key file, I think. So authorization. So because the same key we are getting authenticated, so let's put this key and then see if it works. It should work. And let's do the test configuration. Okay, and here we are using for Jenkins server 168. NSA 168, that's correct. And then make sure this is a single line, that's correct. And keys. Okay, I think we have to give the private key, so let's move private key to the keys file. Yes, okay, and then change the group to okay, change group. So ACT user has to use it. Let's check it once. If not, I will change the group to Jenkins. Okay, we'll change the group to Jenkins. Change group Jenkins. Change ch owner to Jenkins Jenkins okay, let me see if it works. Okay, it worked. So basically they need a private key there, and the ownership should be Jenkins. Okay, so we have to do the similar thing for another server. So it's called web server, and the host name is to the this one, and user EC2 user, and then go to advanced and use password authentication or keys. And the keys is keys file, and let's see if it works here. Yeah, it worked. So the two servers are authenticated from the Jenkins web console, administrative console. So that part is done. So let's go here. So now we have that. So let's go to our job. So this is a configure job. Now while it is taking time to load, so what we need to do is now we need to create a build steps, and build steps are send files, execute commands or SSH. So the first one which we are going to do is use the Jenkins server, and we need to do the rsync of the files. Rsync minus avh. So basically we have some folder, some folder where the files will be grabbed from the GitHub by the Jenkins server. So from that folder we'll just put the files to the stage folder. So let's call it, let's say, name it okay, temp folder to the stage area, stage docker, let's put this way. Okay, and this job is going to fail because this temp folder is not the right one. So we'll just grab the folder name, say let's save it first and just run one time. Build. So that's going to run the job, and anyway it's going to fail because we didn't give the proper path. So open the console output. Here this is the path where the file will be stored. So we'll grab this path and then docker, go to this and configure. Go to the build step. Here okay, and then also we'll make sure from this, also we'll make sure this folder is created, stage docker, stage docker, and also this folder has the access to okay, change ownership, Jenkins And anyway, like we'll just put a sudo command in front just in case if required. Okay, so then we'll save this, and once let's see if the job executes this time. Build now, and then the job is successful. So let me go to the job and show you exactly what was the build job, and then we'll double check if the job is done on the server. So we did a build of just did the rsync of the file from the GitHub. Let's see from here. Let's take this folder, copy, and here let's check. So in this one we have a Docker file. So this one has to be moved to stage Docker area. Docker. So yeah, we got the file here. So this job is successful, and let's check the file content just to make sure. Yeah, we got the file here. So now the next step will be, so we did a async and we staged the file. Now we need to do is create a Docker image and upload the Docker images to the Docker hub. So that one we have to do next. So I think we already installed the Docker on that, and let's do a Docker login. So basically Docker hub, I have an account on that, so, and this is where we'll just upload it. So, and here let's say Docker login. So login ID is rkcloud, and the password is, let me grab the password. And hold on. Okay. Okay, I logged into the Docker hub. I think it didn't took the password. Let me try again. Okay, it succeeded this time. So once we have to make sure that we just log into the Docker and the full command line once, and then we should be able to upload and download the Docker images from that account. And okay, the next step is we need to create a let me go to the job again. Okay, this is a job, and let's add one more build step, send files to ss2. So here we have to run on the Jenkins server again. What we'll do is here we'll issue some commands, Docker commands. Let me go to the execute here. So first we'll go to the staging area, stage Docker. Let me double check if that is a folder. Stage Docker. Yeah, this is where we have the file. So we have to take this file, and the file has this contents, right? So we need to issue the docker image command and build the image uh, from these commands, and then upload that image into the docker hub, and then delete the currently stored image. And then whenever we create a docker image, normally like this is version 1.0, so we'll have the version 1.0. So whenever the developer changes the version 2, then it should have a different version number. If it has the same version number, then docker has a property that normally if it checks in the local repository, if it does not have, then it will go and pulls the repository from the docker hub and stores locally, and then it will create a image. So but if you have the same name kept, then whenever the developer updates the code, and if we build docker image with the same name, then we'll never get the actual updated image from the docker hub, because with the same name is already a local image is stored. So what we need to do is we just need to uh, put a mechanism to change it, like version number. We'll use the Jenkins variables. There are a couple of variables that Jenkins supports. So like we'll take two variables. One is job name, other one is a build ID. So job name is the name which we have here. So this is a job name, and then for the build, where they have a build numbers. So when we compile, right, like first build, second build, something like that, I'll show you once we get out of the screen. I'll show you. And let's stick here, and then this one will just whatever I explained, I'll just put it in the commands here so that it makes some sense. And let's see if it works here. Okay, we are into the stage docker area. So now let's use the sudo command. So to the root, so docker image build. So docker image build is a command to build docker image from the command file, or what is the docker file which we have it. So let's give the name to this, and the name should be like we can use this variables as I explained earlier. So the job name, dot build id, build underscore id. So this is a actually name of the docker image which will be created from the docker file. So, and then where do we find the docker file? In stage underscore docker. So we can just put the dot, or maybe you can have this path as well. So, and then with this step it will create a docker image locally. And then what do we do is let's do tag this image to the central repository docker names. So let me show you docker image tag. So let's take this name, and then our docker repository is with the id rkcode, and then we'll just put the same build name. So that means like it will have a name, it's a tag name basically, same image, but we have a different name as well. It's called rkcode. So where when we upload it, so we have this name and it's convenient. And then let's put another tag. Another tag is let's make it as a dot latest. So that's when, so whenever you want to pull the latest image, right? So, and also if you want, you can pull it with the version number as well. So and that last one will make it as the latest, so that every time we update docker image, that has the latest image name. So docker image and build docker image tag. Just put the copy paste the same thing here. This one, instead of build id, just add latest, so that we can just when we download the image, we can just do with the latest image. And but it's actually from the build id, whatever the build id we have, so it's just having the tag. It's like kind of a name to that. And then what do we do is let's push this code into the docker hub. So docker image push. Okay, 1 second, let's see if it is recording. Okay, recording. Docker image push RK code, and this one. And also we do the same thing for the latest image as well. And then now what we need to do is so far what we did is we went to the stage docker, and then we created a docker image with this command, and the docker image name we got it from job name and build id. So let's say if the build is a second build, and then the job name will be docker CICD job, so then the docker image created with this command will be docker CICD job dot number 2, which is the build number. So and then we are attaching a tag to this. The one tag is rk code slash, and then same build number, build job name and build id. And the second tag is same thing, like a job name dot latest. And then here we are pushing those two images onto the docker hub, so they will be appearing in this docker hub. Okay, not now, when we run the job. And then what we need to do is we don't want to pile up the space on this Jenkins server. So once we upload the images to the docker hub, we'll just remove it. So right now we have a two tags images, and one is the original image. So we'll issue the remove image command to clear them. So docker image rmi remove image, and then we'll have the image name, and let's do the same thing for another one. Okay, for this one we'll do for this one okay, code build id, and then okay, latest. So we have a 3 images has been cleared. So let's see, let's save it and see if it does this job. And now we have a 2 builds, so let's go for the another build. So then the build number will be 3. Let's see if it works. Okay, it has a problem. So let's see what is the problem. Exception when publishing, exception machine. Send file the command services change build result to unstable. Okay, let's go and check it. So what we did is, so we use the Jenkins server, and then we did a stage docker, and then let's see, job name, job ID, stage docker, tag job name, job ID. Let's see, execute these commands manually and see if it works. First, okay, I think one option we can try is, I think, docker. Did we start? I think let's check if it started. System ctl status docker. Okay, it's loaded but it's not started. That might be the reason. So system start docker system ctl start docker and system ctl enable docker, and then status. Okay, it's running. So let's do the same thing for the web server as well. So status for the docker, so it's also running here. Let's see if it run the job and see if it succeeds. If not, we'll do manually those commands and see where it's stuck. Where you know, so the fourth job should start. And it's going through. Might be uploading the images. Okay, let's wait till it finishes the job. Let's see the console output. This is the console output. Okay, finished success. So this is successful. If you want, let's go back and see the job status. It should be green. Yeah, it became green. So that means the Docker image. So let's validate that. So what do we do is, what we did so far is, we uploaded the Docker image to the Docker hub. So the build ID is 4. Okay, the image name should be, one image should be rkcode with docker CICD job .4, and then one more will be .latest. Let's go to the Docker. Just refreshing the content, and here you go. We see the Docker CICD job dot 4, and then Docker CICD job dot latest. So that has been uploaded a minute ago and updated 2 minutes ago. So our job name is Docker CICD job. So this part is done. So now we finished so far is pulling the developers code from GitHub and then build the image. So the continuous integration part is done. So now what we need to do is continuous deployment part. So deployment part is where first we need to install the Ansible, and that will do it. So we have to do it on the Jenkins server. So let's say what we do is okay, we are already on the root. Yum install Ansible. So this one, this is a Amazon Linux, so it's suggesting to run this command. So let's do it. Okay, it's installed. So let's see system ctl status Ansible. Okay, let's go with Ansible. Okay, what we'll do is we'll check if the Ansible is there. Ansible, and then the host file. Okay, here we'll add the host file for the Ansible to deploy. So we'll add a web server, and what is the IP address for the web server? Let's grab it. So this one, so let's add it here. So we install the Ansible. What we do is let's say cd, we are in the home directory, Ansible minus m ping, then web. So basically we are trying to ping the web server from the Ansible, and let's see if it's successful. Okay, failed to connect to the host via SSH, permission denied. So this one EC2 user, okay, the ping is not, let's see ping works actually. Ping web server. Okay, we have a firewall issue. So what we do is between these two VMs we'll open the firewall from the instance EC2 and security group. And this is a web server. So let's open the web server, and the inbound roles, what we do is edit, and okay, etc host. So for the web server it should respond to the ping. So let's put for this one add and ICMP. Let's do everything. I think all traffic to this IP address. Okay, so this one will be allowed. Everything will be allowed. Okay, now go to the Jenkins security configuration. Will allow the similar way for the web server as well. So and a rule all traffic zero. Okay, now let's see if the ping works. Okay, the ping is working, and let's see Ansible ping works. Okay, still the problem is there. Let's see what is the problem. Let's see SSH web server hosting. Okay, the permission denied. Oh, okay. We don't have a private key here. Copy. ID. Key. Okay, 1 second. Let me go to the web server. PC2 user dot SSH. Okay, ID RSA. So we have that key. Let's see. Oh, PC2 user dot SSH. So here copy from keys file as an ID RSA. So and let's restore the permission as well. So how the permission looks is only read write. So let's give only read write. Change mode 600 and then change ownership ACT user and EC2 user ID RSA. And one more thing we have to do is let's see if this public key is there in the other server. It should be there, I think. EC2 user PX is there. Let's try it and see if it SSH works. SSH web server hosting. Okay, now let's try Ansible ping web. Okay, it's successful. So basically the private key we might have moved it instead of copying earlier, so that's the reason it didn't work. So now it worked, and normally you should get like a success when you do the ping. Then So this Ansible installation is completed here, and we are able to establish a communication to the web server. So this part is done. So now what we need to do is we need to create a YAML file which we can deploy. So now basically the YAML file should contain like a Docker image. We pull the Docker image and then create a container for that. So let's do one thing. Here let's give a path from, okay, let's make a directory called playbook. Playbook, and then here what we can do is create a Docker file, YAML file basically, and then I just staged one file here. I will grab that file. I'll explain what is there here. So this is a stage file. Let me copy it first just to save the time here. Okay, so let me explain here. So here we are saying that this YAML should be executed on web servers. So we have one web server that we are listed, and we just did a ping on that. And then this is the gather facts false. So basically this Ansible, whenever we run, it will gather all the facts and hardware information, and that will take little time. So if we say false, then we save the time for that, and then become yes. This one the Ansible will become root whenever it's needed. So that's what yes. And then the task. So the task which we are performing as part of this Ansible deployment is one is we'll check basically Docker images. We get it, and we create a container out of it. So we'll check any previous container is there, and then we need to stop the container. So that's what this step about before we installing the new container. So because the container will be the same name, so we will get a error if we use that. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to run a shell command. So this name is stop container, and then shell command, what it will do is we issue a docker container stop command. So that will stop the container, and the container name is docker web container. So that is a name which we're going to give later for creating it. But if at all docker web container is there, just stop the container. That's what this shell command will be. And then if the docker container is not running, this command might fail. So that's why I'm just putting another with the true. So irrespective of whether the docker container is there, it will stop it. If the docker container is not there, it will just give a result as successful. So it will go to the next one. So once the docker container is stopped, then we need to remove the docker container. So this is the command for removing the docker container. It's the same thing, docker container rm and then docker name. So once the containers are stopped and removed, then we need to remove the image, docker image. So that one will be done with the docker image rm command. So and then this is the path for that. So here we have the name change, right? So here let's put docker CICD. What did we use for in the job? So it's a job name dot latest, docker CICD job dot latest. So way to do that, docker CICD job. job dot. Okay, it's docker CICD job dot latest intro, and if it's there, then docker CICD job latest. So basically, it will create a container with a docker container run command with the itd option with the name is the docker web container, and then the port which we are giving here is 8000. So let's make it it's the same thing like 80. We can do it because we opened the port for the 80, and or we can change any port here, so it doesn't matter. So so this one, let's save it, and the path is and this is the path. So where you just do the Ansible playbook and then this path. So let's create a job for the post build action. This is on the Jenkins server, post build action. So what we do is send build artifacts or SSH. And this one we use the Jenkins server, and then use the command various and ANSIBLE playbook and path. So let's see if the Ansible playbook is there on the server. Which Ansible playbook. Okay, Ansible playbook command is there. So this is what it will do, and then save, and then let's see for the web server IP address, public IP address we have to take. Before running the job, I wanted to make sure, like, open the page and see if nothing should show up, and then later we'll do it. So, and then this one, in the public we're trying to gather the public IP address of the web server. Yes, system is slow, bear with me. Okay, this is the public IP address, open address. So here nothing should come right now. Let's see if something comes up. Okay, nothing is coming up. Okay, then now what we do is we create the post build job of deploying. Let's run the build and see if the build goes through. Okay, it's successful. Let's see this, refresh this content and see. It should show us on the website. Let's see. Okay, let's check on the web server. This is on the web server. Let's see, Docker images. So they have Docker images are there, and then containers, Docker container. This okay. Okay, it's running. Status exited. Okay, about a minute ago, status exited. Let's do one thing. Let's change the port to 8000 and see if it comes up. Let's 1 second. Wait. Start -90. The port 80 is not started. It's not listening basically. Let's go to the local jobs and let's see here. Change it to 8000 and see if it works. Docker CICD job latest. This is a file we have already. Docker container. Let's see, build now. It's not yet done yet, so let's wait for some more time. Okay, let's check the port. So okay, first we'll check it here. Exited. So status exited, it didn't run yet. So 1 second. Yeah, this for the Jenkins server, the Docker file. So here I just rewrote the Docker file again. So it's the same steps. I think somewhere some typo was there, so that might be the problem. So the Docker file, I just did a git repository sync, and then let's see if we run the job and see if it comes up. Build now. Let's make it another build, which is 8. Let's see if it takes time, and in the meanwhile let's go to the 1 second, hold on, let's make sure it finishes. Yeah, it's successful. And let's go to that container web server. Let's say Docker container list, and the status is up 20 seconds. And then let's see Jenkins, what is the port that we used it. Docker file. Let's see playbook. Docker. So we use the 8000 port. Let's open the port for the 8000 port. Security groups, and I think yeah, this one is a web server, and inbound rules, edit inbound rules. Let's add 8000 port. From anywhere, save rules, no, grab the IP address, public IP address for web server. Here is the public IP address, and HTTP and port 8000. Okay, here you go. So it opened the page. So this is the page which we downloaded from the net as a zip file, and we did that. So let's do one thing. Let's change the developer code, and I got one more downloaded image file, so we'll grab this one, expertvision.zip, and then see if we change the code, the web page should change. So let's go to the Jenkins server. id and open the Docker file. Okay, let's make this one as version 2, and then this one take it from here. So it will gather this expert vision, and then here just change this to expert vision. Okay, now we need to update the git status, change git add Docker file. Okay, git commit -m added another sample web page contents. Okay, and then git push git add github.com marketing Docker CICD github git Docker CICD GitHub. Okay, let's push it here. Okay, the code has been pushed. Let's see, it should create another job. Right now 8 is there, 9 should come. Okay, it's coming. We can check the console log as well here. Here is the console output. Okay, it's completed. So let's go back to the job and see if it turned into gray. And then let's see in the Docker Hub, they have a file with a 9 number. Refresh. Yeah, 9 number is there. And then let's see the final thing. So let's refresh this web page and see. Should get a different web page. Here you go. So we got a different web page. Expert vision. This is the template which we loaded. So this will demonstrate the CICD pipeline for the Docker. I hope this one will help you out. And let me, okay, this is what we started with. So thank you very much for watching.